Hello and welcome to this module. In this module, we're going to be looking at your content process. We'll be looking at your heading, your subheading, the body of your content, your call to action. We'll also be looking at some tools you can use to create better content. So let's just get started. Your heading. Now, the heading of your content is the title of your content. It serves as the first point of contact between the content and the reader. So your heading is like that first thing that people see, the first, like the foremost part of your content. If you are creating a social media flyer, you see that there is a bolder text. So that bolder text is your heading. If you are creating a carousel, or when you say carousel, the first slide serves as your heading. If you go to a landing page or to a website, the first line you see there, it always serves as the heading. So your heading is what is the title of your content. And why do we actually have this heading? We use it to grab attention and to give the reader a clear idea on what that particular content is talking about. So your heading is used to grab attention. You see, if people come across your content and what they are seeing is not interesting, then they most likely would not even continue to read. So your heading is what you use to grab their attention, right? You grab their attention and then you can always move ahead with other form of your, other side of the content. So what are the characteristics? Number one is it must be engaging. So your content must be engaging. It must entice your reader to continue. If you actually have an heading that is not interesting, that is not enticing, that does not engages them, they will just pass your content. So your content must be engaging. Another thing is that it must accurately reflect the content main idea. So when you're writing content on something, like I should say, ensure that the content is you most likely have created the content before you work on your heading, or when you're writing your heading, ensure it is relating to what you want to talk about inside the content. So let's say you want to talk about how to make money, or let's say you know really know a lot about affiliate marketing and you've made a lot of money from affiliate marketing, and you want to create a content maybe to market your course. You can create you can actually have an heading that is very, very interesting, that whenever people come across it, they want to read more. So you can say something like how I made 300K in 20 minutes, right? Secret business model that I used to make 200K in 20 minutes. That could be your heading. So anybody that comes across that thing and wants to make money online, they'll most likely want to read it, right? And then when you now go into all of your this thing, all of the content, you can now talk about how you actually go about it. So your heading makes them stop. And also, it also has a way of relating to what the entire content is about. So most times your heading are always short, straight to the point, and yes, they're often incorporated into the search engine optimization. So I was talking about there was a time I was talking about your search engine optimization. How whenever you are creating content, you want to ensure that you're using the keywords that allows you to appear in searches. Like for example, now if you search for fashion, or let's use sneakers. If you search for sneakers in Lagos, you're going to see a lot of brands pop out. If you just go to Twitter and just search sneakers in Lagos, you see a lot of brands are going to pop out. Those brands are brands that have created content around sneakers before, so they pop out because of their content are relevant to that particular thing. You get that? So some examples of this is 10 tips for a stylish summer wardrobe. You could also have your stop for all digital assets. So this is just like your heading. It is that first part. You get, so it is talking about the brand. Talking about that particular content and giving you a cue to what you are to expect from that particular content. And the next one is your sub-heading. Now, your sub-heading are the next line of action after your heading. So your heading has given a glimpse into what the content is about. It's like the topic of the content. Then your sub-heading tends to explain more about the heading. Now, sub-heading are secondary headings that break down the content, making it easier to understand. So you said you actually maybe you made a statement or you made a promise in your heading. Then your sub-heading helps us to understand it more. So let's say you say something like how to make your first 100K from affiliate marketing. Then your sub-heading would expand on what you just said. So it breaks it down so that they will get to know more about what you are talking about. You get me? So, and why do we have the sub-heading? It is to give a better understanding of the heading and of the content. They help the readers grasp the idea faster. There are some time where you make an heading that is very, very interesting, but it does not give the full idea, right? But when you make your subheading, you'll be able to explain more about it. So let's say, for example, you said you actually made an heading, something like how to make your first 100K online. So that heading is very enticing. It makes people be like, oh, so I can make 100K online. How do I go about it? In your subheading, you can now talk about, with the skill of affiliate marketing, you can make 100K online or on social media. Check the next slide to see more. So that subheading has expanded more on the topic. It has told you where you can actually make the money, what you can use to make the money. It's also telling you to check the next slide so that you can see more content, which is the body, that's the main content. So the subheading is giving a guide. It is expanding more on the topic. It is guiding them through the content, making them understand it more. I hope you get me. So let's look at some of the characteristics. Number one is it provides a brief overview of the content. Now your subheading gives a brief overview. It makes us to it's like, your heading has given us a cue. The subheading expands more on it, so it is opening it more for you to actually understand what what you should be expecting from the content. It helps in creating a logical flow of information. Now, when you're creating your landing pages or your web pages, you end up you might actually have so many subheadings. Like, for example, in this course, we're talking about content writing. Under content writing, we have several aspects. So we have the content format, we have the content process, we have the content types, we have the scope of content, different ones. So the topic, like we can say, our heading is content writing. But for you to understand the heading, we need to have different subheadings. So when you're making your landing pages or your web pages and you have an heading, let's say your heading is this particular thing, your subheading can be so many. So you can have a particular subheading, you explain under it, you create another one, and on like that, depending on how wide the topic you are discussing is, right? Also, it should be interesting enough to keep the reader's attention. Like I said, when you're creating your content, it's not just about just writing content. You need to actually get them to actually see the content and want to read it. So if your heading has grabbed their attention, then your subheading should retain their attention and actually makes them more hooked to your content so that they can actually read more. Now, next one we have here is the body of the content. So you have your heading, you have your subheading. This is the body. So the body of the content is the main content. I mean, that is the main juice of the content. The body is the main part of the content where detailed information is provided. So where you actually write the real stuff, that is the heading. So you've talked about how they can make money. You've told them, okay, you use affiliate marketing. Now, in the body of the content, you now explain everything. So you can talk about how you started, what you learned, what you did, everything. You explain everything in the body of your content. So why do we have the body? The purpose of the body is to deliver value by presenting comprehensive information, like real information, real explanation on the topic. So the body of your content is where the real content actually comes in play. And the last one we have is, okay, let's talk about some of the characteristics. Yeah, it provides useful information for the reader. Yes, it allows you to maintain the reader's interest. Yeah, it also organizes the entire content into paragraphs or bullet points. So the body allows you to organize the content. It allows you to explain everything. It is always detailed. Sometimes it can be so many. You get, depending on the kind of content. For example, if you are creating a landing page content or a web page content, your body text will be so much, right? If you are creating a caption, it could also be long. If you are creating a flyer, it might not be that long. You get, if you are creating like a carousel, those your slides, it could be like 9 pages or 8 pages out of 10 pages. So your heading and subheading can take the first page, and then the remaining pages can be for your the body of your content. You get me? So that's for that one. And the next one that we have now, which is the last one, is the call to action, CTA. So this is this is used mostly in copywriting. Now, your call to action is the prompt that you use to allow your audience to take an action. It is that prompt that encourages people that are reading your content or going through your content to take a specific action. Now, the reason you are creating a content is because you want to do something. We talked about this when we were talking about the goal of content. I'm sure of that. So you are creating a content, even if it is just an educational content, you want them to do something. Maybe you want them to follow your page, or you want them to like, or you want them to comment, or you want them to buy your product or buy your course, or work with you. Whatever is that particular thing you want them to do with your content, this is where it actually comes in play. So your CTA, which is your call to action, is the prompt that encourages the reader to take a specific action, right? So we use this to guide the reader towards the next step you want them to take, such as maybe making a purchase, signing up, contacting you, subscribing to your channel, or following your page. You get me? And some examples is, you can say send a DM. You used to see this everywhere. Click the link in my bio. You can tell them to comment a particular word. You send them a DM. You can tell them to subscribe. You can tell them to follow for more tips or for more content. You get me? So your CTA is where you guide them into the next direction, is where you tell them what to do after the content. So you can say that these four areas, your heading, your sub-heading, your body, and your CTA, when you combine them together, that is what allows a full content to be made. So the complete content is an integration of your heading, your subheading, your body, and your CTA. When you combine them together and when you break your content into all of these, you'll be able to create a comprehensive content that allows people to enjoy, allows people to understand what you're saying, and also allow you to hit the goal of your content. So this is very, very helpful to you. Maybe you're a business person looking to write content for your brand, or you're a freelancer who is looking to write content for your service, or for clients, you want to get more clients, or you're just for somebody down to learn content writing. You could also write content for other people and get paid, and it's really, really going to be helpful. So let's look at some examples. So these are some few examples on how you can actually follow this process of writing content, and you can apply them to different content formats. So let's look at the first one. So this is a social media flyer for a brand that sells gadgets. You can see the heading, home for all your gadgets. So that is the heading for the flyer, right? And you can see the sub-heading, meet all your gadget needs in one stop. Okay, in one shop. You can just use that. So you can see how the sub-heading is adding to the story of the heading. I can see the body information. So that is where the entire content comes. So it's telling you, okay, you can buy your iPhone, you can buy all of these things in this in this particular brand. So you can see the heading, the sub-heading, and the body text. And then we now have the call to action, which is your CTA, and that is the phone number of the brand. So for your social media flyers, you may also want to follow this process. Now, the thing is this, for your social media flyers, it's not compulsory you follow everything. Like there are some flyers you want to create that you don't have to use your sub-heading. So when you have your heading, you can just have your body text and just have your CTA. So depending on the kind of flyer, there are some flyers that you may not even need a sub-heading or a body text. You just have your heading and that's all. For example, if you want to, like, let's say you want to create a flyer for the new week, you can just be like, okay, happy new week, or it's a new week to trust us to place your order, something like that. So those kind of flyers don't really need you to have a sub-heading or to have a body text. You just have just one line or just one sentence and you're good to go. So that is for your social media flyers. But when we're talking about your captions, like this one that we have here, your captions are always very robust. So your captions, your web pages, they are always more detailed. So you look at this caption. This caption is saying something like, why deliver to Ogun State, Nigeria, when you can deliver to Alakuko, Ogun State, Nigeria? So with a question mark. So it's asking you a question. It is opening the conversation for you, right? And you can see that is serving as our heading. Then the sub-heading is now telling you, okay, you can make your delivery smoother and seamless with, but then we're introducing the brand. So the subheading is now introducing you. It is opening more about what we just asked in your heading. And then the body text gives you the entire information. It breaks everything down for you so you can understand what we are talking about. And then you can now see the call to action. Go here. And then it's giving you the link so you can actually go and buy the product or go and get the product. So this is how these are the process you can follow if you want to create better content. I hope you understand me. So let's just go into the next one, which is your tools, and then tools you can actually use. Now, to create better content, there are some tools that you can use to fasten the process, which is like your AI, that's your artificial intelligence like your ChatGPT. You can use blogs. You can also leverage on other people's content. So let's just go into them one after the other. Now, AI. Using AI. Now, AI, let's just say ChatGPT because I know that's one of the most popular AI tool we have, especially for content writing. Now, use specific keyword to describe what you need, but ensure to refine it to fit the brand. Now, I would always say this: you're using AI to create content. ChatGPT or AI is not using you to create content. You are the content writer. So your tool is one of your tools is ChatGPT. So you are to leverage on it. You're not supposed to allow it to define everything you create. So you know what you want to work on. Let's say you already have your content pillar. You ask it, okay, I want to create content for this brand, highlighting the solutions to this thing. Can you give me some content ideas on it? So it gives you an idea, and then you write everything down or you copy it and you refine it. So whenever you're using ChatGPT, ensure you are giving it information so that it can actually give you what you want. You don't want to just go there and just ask it a random thing. You cannot just go to ChatGPT and just say, give me content for a copywriting brand. It's going to give you generic content. You need to be specific because you are the content writer. So you make your research, you know what you want, and you ask it the right questions. When you ask it the right questions, it's going to give you the right answers. I hope you understand me. So that is for using AI, and also ensure you are refining it to fit the brand. Don't copy something for ChatGPT and use it directly in your content. It's going to be so generic. When you copy something or when you get an idea from AI, ensure you refine it to fit the brand, to fit the brand message. Because when you take something from AI and use it directly in your brand, people would know. Everybody uses AI. Most of these business owners you see, most of them just copy things from AI and just paste it on their content. So when you do the same thing, especially as a content writer, it speaks low of you. So you want to ensure you're always refining them. You get. So let's say, for example, you are a fashion brand and you want to create content on how to look for the best fashion dress, right? Or you want to, okay, you're looking for the best combination of fashion dress that can work. So you already have the ideas of clothes you have, maybe a jean and a tank top, and you don't know how to combine them, or you're too busy to start thinking about it. You just go to ChatGPT. Okay, can you give me different combinations of a tank top and a jean that could work? So it sends you all of the ideas, and then you copy them and start working on them. You get. So you know what you want. You ask it specific question, and you get what you want from it. And then the next thing is read what you don't know. Study to understand what you don't know and write them in your own words. So, like I said before, there was a time I was made to create content for a forex brand, and I honestly don't know anything about forex. I don't know anything about crypto or forex. The very first thing I had to do was I had to go and learn forex. I had to learn forex not because I wanted to write content on forex, but because I wanted to know forex. Because if I don't know it, I'll keep on writing. I'll not even know if I'm creating the right thing or if I'm just copying and pasting something. So I had to first of all learn forex. When I understood it, then I was able to create content from what I had learned. Although it was not so much, but it because I had a little bit of idea around it, I was able to create original content. So if you are to create content for a particular brand and you don't know so much about it, go and learn about the industry or about the brand. Learn to know. Don't learn to create. Don't just learn and just go and paste what you learned. No, learn that thing, understand it, then explain in the way you understand it. I hope you actually get me. Yeah, so that's for that one. And then also you can use blogs or other people's content. So leverage other people's content for inspiration. So you have to work on a brand and you honestly don't know what to write. Go and check similar brands. Go and check what they are creating. Go and look at what they are working on. Check the results. Don't just check somebody content and paste. Check the content. Is this content getting them the kind of result? Check, are they getting engagement? Do you think they are getting more sales? When you see that they are getting results with those content, okay, you can write those content down and you check, okay, what is working? What are the things they are doing? From there, you start getting inspiration to use for your own or for your client's work. You get me? And lastly, like I said before, write anyhow, compile later. So when you are creating your content, you don't have to write the heading first before you go to the subheading. Anyhow the ideas are coming your way, please just put them down. If you take your book, I would advise you that whenever you're creating your content, don't type on your phone. Take a biro and jot it down on a book. You can have a jotter for your content. So any idea that is coming to your mind, write them down. Just write them down. Even if it is the CTA that first of all came to your mind, put it down. If it is the body of the information that first of all come to your mind, or like the body of the content that first of all comes to your mind, put it down. You don't have to, I want to get my heading. If I don't get my heading, I will not do anything. No, as the ideas are coming, just write them down. The more ideas you have, put them down. Even if you're having ideas that are not really like relating to the brand, just put them down. So the more ideas you have, the more you are able to expand on them. You get? And when you're through with everything, you can compile them together. You can generate your heading, you can generate your sub heading, you can remove things, you can add to them. And before you know, you're going to be having a comprehensive work. You get? So these are some of the tools you can use to achieve your content. And with this, I believe you've learned a whole lot from this session, or from this particular module. And at this point, I think you should be able to start putting what you've been learning so far to use. You get? So I'll see you in the next class.